Hello. I was feeling called today to show up and talk about the energy of embodiment, the energy of presence, being in this now moment, and just taking a deeper dive into that. I am drinking coffee in the afternoon, feeling a little crazy today. So I will be drinking my coffee while I talk about this. So the energy of presence. The energy of presence is the ability to be with what is here now and sift through illusion and distortion, right? Any illusion or distortion gets burned by the present moment. When you're in the present moment, anxiety about the future does not exist. Depression or shame for the past doesn't exist. It can come up into your awareness. That was my dog going back down the stairs. It can come up into your awareness, but when you're present, you see it coming into your field. You see the anxiety around money, for example, coming into your field, and you look at it like you're looking at this cup, as if this cup was coming into my awareness, and I'm looking at it as a separate object. It's a separate entity. I see this is a mug. It doesn't come into my awareness, and then I'm like, oh, I guess I'm a mug now. That doesn't make sense, right? The same goes for our thoughts and our anxieties and our emotions. They come into this present moment with us, and we view it, when we can view it as a separate entity, like that mug I was just holding up, we can choose to let it float on by, right? I don't look at this cup coming into my awareness and then just get stuck on the mug, and then I'm just thinking about this mug all day long because it came into my awareness. The only reason that you get trapped in anxious thoughts is because you carry them with you everywhere that you go. You claim them as yours and you bring them with you into each next present moment. Each present moment is a blank slate. Each present moment is an opportunity to be reborn, to be blank, to be clean, to be pure. I don't like that word pure. It has some weird connotation with religion, but that's not what I mean. I mean pure as in anxiety doesn't exist. It's not yours. It's not mine. It doesn't belong to anybody. You're a blank slate, and something is just coming up, and you can choose to either let it paint on your canvas, or you can say, no, I don't really like that color, so just keep it moving, right? So being in the present moment is a practice. It is a practice with being with what is, what is here now. So the easiest way to drop into the present moment is your 5 senses. Is going to be to move your body and be in your body as you're moving with dance, yoga, walking, jogging, lifting weights, listening to music, but actually being in the moment with the music, sound, listening to the birds, being with the scenery that's in front of you, feeling what's on your skin. That's why tapping can be so beneficial. I never got super into tapping, but that's why tapping can be so helpful. I think I don't know that much about tapping, but from my perspective, it brings you back into the present moment. You're tapping, you're letting yourself feel this. You are here now. The rest doesn't exist. I know it feels real and it feels like it exists. That's because you are anchoring it in and you think that it's you. You've made it part of your identity, and you are a powerful creator being. So because you've pulled it in and made it a part of your identity, you've created a reality in which this exists. Do you see where I'm going? So the thing doesn't have power over you. This mug doesn't have power over me to come into my reality. This is such a silly example. I'm sorry. The mug doesn't have power to come into my reality, and now I'm a mug. Now I have this mug in my hand forever. No, I'm choosing to experience the contents of this mug. I'm choosing to experience holding the mug in my hand. I'm choosing to experience drinking this. The same is with our emotions and thoughts. You're choosing to experience it if it's been with you for a long time, or it's been with you for so long and you've stuffed it down because you're afraid of it. So rather than it coming into your reality and you're seeing it and letting it pass you by, you're holding on to it. But while you're holding on to it with a tight grip, you're also saying, oh, but I don't want to look at it. I know that this is me, but I don't want to look at it. But the thing is that it's not you. You're safe to look at it. It doesn't feel great. Lower vibrational emotions don't feel great, but you are safe to experience them because they are not you. And so past this, once you learn presence, you move into embodiment. An embodiment is simply just your, to make it easy to say, it's mind, body, soul in alignment with each other. You're aware of your thoughts and you're choosing thoughts that you wish to align into your reality. You're choosing thoughts that align to your soul growth, your soul dharma, your soul purpose. You're choosing thoughts that align to your soul. Your actions are aligned with what you want to be doing. Your words are in alignment to your truth. But how do you know what your truth is if you're not ever in the present moment? You see what I'm saying? So you have to, first you learn presence, and then comes the embodiment of it. The embodiment of the present moment. Going with the flow of what is coming next. Speaking your truth in the moment. Now, of course, we're not perfect. Sometimes we may think something that is our truth right now, tomorrow we could realize that it was actually just our ego's truth, that it was clouded with a veil of judgment or a veil of illusion. But when we can come back into presence and sit perhaps with the thing that you just spoke to somebody, and then it made you feel weird. Sit with that discomfort of feeling weird after you just said something that you thought was your truth. And then when you sit with it, you'll realize like, oh, I was just jealous, and so that's why I said that. Or I was being blocked in some way by some limiting belief was blocking you, and it put a veil over your perception. It distorted your perception of reality. And so you said something you thought was your truth, but once you sat with the weird lingering feeling after you said it, you realized that it was actually a distorted truth. And now you have found an even deeper truth. It's not that what you said previously was wrong. It was just distorted, and then you perhaps wouldn't have even realized it was distorted unless you had said it, and then it made you feel weird for saying it. So when you sit with that weird feeling, you're dissolving the illusion because you're moving into presence with the emotion. You're moving into the true reality with what is. And this can be deeply uncomfortable because there's some deep things that we've been holding on to for years and years and years and years and years and years, and we think that they're us. And we think that if we feel these things, or we look at these things, or we recognize these things, that it's going to burn us, that it's going to make us bad, that it's going to make us sinful, that it's going to make us impure, or whatever kind of beliefs we have about the things that we keep under the surface. So, The energy of presence is simply just truth. And when you sit in truth, the illusions and the distortions have no choice but to dissolve. And when you become the walking embodiment of presence, the walking embodiment of truth, the evil, the distortions, the illusions on the path literally burn, crumble as you walk through. And that's why this path can be deeply uncomfortable. This path can be triggering for others around you, and maybe why you think there is something wrong with you, because you've been perhaps this, when you start to become this beacon of truth, you're unknowingly burning the illusions in other people's realities that they may not even realize are distortions. They just think that you're burning down their reality, and it makes them angry. It makes them want to fight you. It makes them triggered. So whenever you start to walk this path, many people are going to come at you. And this is where you have to build that inner trust, that inner knowing, that safe foundation with yourself. This honest foundation with yourself, to be able to stand true in what you know. Take criticism when needed, take it in, look at the criticism. If it aligns with you and you're like, yeah, I guess I could work on that or whatever, okay, integrate it. If you disagree with the criticism, you don't have to take it. You can be like, oh, no thank you. Next. Because you understand sometimes people are just so deeply in the illusion, and they're lashing out and they're trying to kill you, for lack of a better phrase, like burning the witches at the stake, because what truth seers, this world is a world built on illusion and distortion, cannot survive if the world is made up of truth seers. So we had to kill them all. We had to get rid of all the truth seers so that the third dimensional dark reality could be anchored. It couldn't be anchored while there was higher vibrational light on the planet, when there was truth on the planet. And now we're seeing the rebirth of this. We're seeing truth coming back. We're seeing this happen before our eyes. Now is the time to be in your truth, because the frequency on the planet has risen so drastically and so rapidly that's what we're seeing right now, is all of the illusions, all of the distortions are being burned before our very eyes in the news. Shit is being uncovered. It's all coming out. It's all coming up to be released from the planet because of the frequency, because of how many embodiments, because of how many people are learning how to embody this frequency of truth, this frequency of presence. It's burning the distortions on our planet. And so we're moving into an age where this is going to be what is valued. Your truth, your authenticity, your light. All distortions, all shadows are being brought up right now. And so you may as well begin to do this for yourself, because it's going to happen whether you want it to or not, and it's going to be more painful if you deny, suppress. It's going to be way more painful if you fight it, if you try to deny it. So you may as well just let the shadows arise, let the distortions come into view, and let them burn, let them crumble, so that you can begin to walk a new life, a life that is the embodiment of presence, the embodiment of truth. And in this life, You get to have everything that you desire. You become magnetic. You become a magnetic frequency. So manifestation becomes as easy as 1, 2, 3. You're just attracting things to you left and right. Because you no longer have any shadows, any limiting beliefs. You're not letting your mind wander and think limiting thoughts for no good reason other than to just feed the ego, to feed the distortion. The distortion that life is hard. Life isn't fair. You don't get to have everything that you want. People, you have to work hard. I don't know, all of these limiting thoughts that circulate in our society. These are distortions, and they repel things away from you. Whereas when you move through the distortion into the path of being the embodiment of presence, you get into the natural flow, the circadian rhythm, for example. You get into the natural flow and things come to you easily because you are literally the embodiment of abundance. The abundance of unconditional love, the abundance of truth, the abundance of wealth. Abundance is a beautiful frequency, and it doesn't just mean money. So if you are struggling right now financially, and all day long you just catch yourself on a loop thinking about how you can't pay your bills, how you're stressed out, you don't know how you're going to make money, you're freaking out. That's your mind trying to control and your ego trapping you into a distortion of lack. You're living in a distorted reality where lack can even be real, where lack exists. This is a distorted reality. This is not truth. Lack is not truth. Lack is distortion. And so by feeding the thoughts of lack, you're feeding into distortion. Whereas it's a simple shift internally. You must become aware first where your thoughts are going. And then it's a simple shift. You just start focusing on what you do have an abundance on. And if you feel like it's nothing, start with oxygen. We have an abundance of oxygen. We are breathing. There is always oxygen around. Perhaps it's polluted. Fine, you can argue me that. Don't focus on that. Focus on your breathing. Don't focus on the pollution. Focus on the fact that you're breathing and you're alive. Right here, right now, you're alive. Right here, right now, you're breathing air. Focus on the abundance of love in your life, of connection in your life. Focus, whatever area of your life you feel is going really well, whether it's your inner world, your connection to spirit, your connection to your family, whatever it is that you feel as going well, focus on that. Focus on it. And slowly, it's going to take patience, and it's going to take determination, and it's going to take you not giving up because you don't see instant results. But slowly, your external reality will start to magnetize more abundance to you because now you're focusing on abundance, and so you'll start getting sent abundance from all directions. Right? So, I hope this video was helpful. I'd love to hear in the comments your thoughts, what you feel like. Write in the comments what you have an abundance of. I'd love to hear it. Tell me what is going good. What is going well? What can you say you're not lacking? And write it in the comments. Okay? Okay. Bye, y'all.